we're just gonna be doing a very soft glam, like that is it. The Body Shop Edelweiss, I guess you guys are familiar with it. And yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and my hyaluronic acid onto my Nivea Rose Care. I actually like the formula so much better now. I feel like you can see whether I look this way. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put my e.l.f. primer all over my face. This is the Power Grip, if you use. I feel like if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I actually prefer this over the Milk Primer. I've used the Milk Primer before and I actually prefer this one. I just feel like it's a bit more tackier and a bit more hydrating to the skin. Like, and I use my ONESIZE Oil Sucker Primer on my nose. And where I tend to get oily. Do some brows today, but I want to keep it quite light. When I was at the Chem Beauty masterclass, I actually discovered a new technique because I had left my brow pomade at home, putting my brow gel on there. I don't know if I said that. I've discovered a new technique and I was like, oh, I think this might be my new go-to because I really liked my brows that day. I don't put no product now because I feel like the brows fade as you continue with makeup, especially like how I'm a bit in a hurry. So I'm just going to conceal. Oh, this is in Cookie. Cookie's going to have to do it today. Yeah, so I kind of need to hurry up. This is very bright. Oh, well, we're going to make it work. So I just kind of like, I put it on because I don't want to put anything on the back of my hands. I don't feel like getting my hands dirty today. So I just take my flat concealer brush. Sometimes I have to like flatten it out. And I literally just trace out the natural shape of my brows, like nothing special. Okay. So I haven't blended anything out. I'm not gonna blend anything out. I'm not gonna fasten up myself. I'm gonna take some foundation, sorry. Yuma Say What Weightless Soft Matte Foundation. I don't know what shade this is in, but yeah, I really like their formula. Very underrated, and it's black owned. So I just go ahead and put that in front, just to like the middle of my brow, because I only want the arch of my brow to be highlighted personally. That's just my personal preference. You can leave it for the whole time if you want it to be a bit more pigmented, if you like that really highlighted brow bone. For me personally, I don't have patience, and I will go ahead and just blend it out. And yeah, I'm just gonna tap the highlighted color in. I swipe the foundation in, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's soft glam, do you get? I want it to be seamless, so this is what I do. I want the concealer to scream because I think it's clear. It's 2025. I can still see people's concealer screaming around their eyebrows. I think it's preference, and if the person wants their makeup like that, they should be allowed. That's none of our business. My foundation. Just make sure you shake the bottle so you can get like the best potential out of the foundation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend the foundation out of my face. I do not put any product underneath my eye. The girlies who get it, I love this formula, and I don't pick it up that much, this foundation, but every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing formula. It's like medium to full coverage, and it's like skin. Like, look at that. It blends out so easily, like butter. Yeah, I like that. So we up close and personal because we're about to get into the important nitty-gritty bit that everyone wants to master. So we're gonna start with bronzing. As of lately, I have not been using the curve case on myself. I use Good Apple by Kat Von D, and this is in the shade Deep 090. Sorry, this is actually a foundation, and I just love the coverage, and I just like how it blends. By the way, I got this in TK Maxx for like £4. So how I do my bronzing contour. I use the top of my ear and I place it there. You don't need that much. You just need, that's all you need. Like, you just, it's a foundation. So the coverage, the pigment is gonna all be there. But I just like this shade because I feel like it does a bit of both. It's like you can use it to contour and you can use it to bronze. Because when you blend it out, it's so beautiful. And yeah. I like to contour my lip. It's like a prime, a lip liner prime. It just gives a pout that I love so much on my lips. And then I like to put some, I like to start off building my eyeshadow, and I like to put that on the edge and also contour my eyes at the same time, because placement is everything. So yeah, this is my personal bronzing. My Ariel and Morphe collab brush. This is a 58 brush. I love it to blend out my liquids or my cream bronzers. So I just go ahead and I just pat that down. Like, I just pat it down. Like, to be honest, you can blend it upwards, but I like just literally pat it. I pat it in. As you can see, that shade, it's not too warm, but then it's not too cool. It's like a perfect in between shade, which gives you leeway to really build up to really work on top of this with powders and have like a really smooth gradient, because you want to work in layers, and you don't just have to work in layers with the amount of products that you use. You can work in layers with the type of tones that you use, so everything just becomes one and looks very seamless. And soft glam is all about looking seamless, you know what I mean? I'm now gonna go in with some blush. Now, wait. This message is for Ken Beauty, because I get that you're trying to, like, you know, improve and expand your brand or whatsoever, but I'm about to put the girls on. I'm about to put the girlies on to these blush shades. Use it. Was that makeup class was CT makeup. I was like, and obviously we're different shades. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, let me see that. And I purchased instantly. I was sold. The two shades that I'm using is Mabe and Dream. So I'm gonna use these two shades with Mabe, which is like a very pigmented. It is pigmented. I promise you, this is all you need. This is all you need. No word of a lie. This is actually all you be needing. And to like diffuse that, because this is pigmented, I'm gonna take Dream and just put one dot here. This is all you need. Do you see that? The pigment is crazy. Morphe E8 brush, which is actually a concealer brush, but I like to use it for my blush because I want it to be pigmented. Start off with blending the brighter blush, and I like to keep it at my high points, and you can blend it a bit downwards into the bronze, the cream bronzer. So, and then I like to take all my blushes underneath my eye just for that dull effect look. I don't know why, I just like when everything, the eye and blush, when it's together, it just looks so good. As you can see, look at that, look at that, look at her. Too Faced and the Huda Beauty concealer, I can't vouch for it anymore. I can't vouch for it anymore. Like, that is actually like the best combo ever. I'm gonna be using the concealer and butterscotch to brighten, but it's still like a bit my skin tone. My chest is quite yellow, So I can get away with using yellow concealers. Not everyone has like yellow tones, well, prominent yellow tones in their complexion. So I can get away with using a concealer with this much yellow. And yeah, I like to use this concealer for underneath my eyes mainly, and my nose, only the center of my face. Okay, and I let that sit. I let all my concealers sit. I don't care what anyone in with the H&B Cosmetics concealer, which is one of my favorite concealers, and this is in the shade SF5W. I like to use that on other points of my face, so like here, and a bit in the center of my forehead. I don't want to go, it's very similar to butterscotch, but just a bit more deeper. I just don't want my whole face to be bright. I just want a bright under eye, so I do tone it down a bit when working on other points of my face that I still wanted to give more definition, but I don't want it to be shouting. And I blend those other parts of my face first before I even touch underneath my eye. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I like to blend the outline, the outskirts of the mapping of the concealer first, the edges of the concealer, where I put the concealer first, because we want coverage, okay, like underneath our eye, so I don't go straight in. And then I tap gently underneath my eye and try not to overblend. I get that you want a beat blended face, but you don't need to overdo it, you know? You need to know when to stop, and I don't think anyone can teach you that. You're just gonna have to learn. You know, when to stop blending. If I feel like there's still harsh lines, I just take the blush brush that I use to cream, well, the concealer brush that I use to blend out my creams. And this is just the first layer. This is not a brightening concealer. This is just a leveling concealer to give you that airbrush look. And I literally take that blush, what the leftover residue on this, and I put it like underneath the eye. Yes, precisely. Yeah. Okay, so once that is done, I'm gonna shake this a bit because the formula for this is a bit watery, but I love it. e.l.f. concealer in the shade Cookie Dough 4.3 neutral. Okay, and this just balance the warm tones and everything out. And I literally kind of like to go in with this a bit because it's not that bright, guys. Like, honestly, it looks crazy, but I promise you, like, this is perfect. These formulas together, you're about to see. This is what I'm using to do my eyebrows. The Made by Mario palette. You see this shade? I knew this was gonna come in handy. £55, and I can't use this as an eyebrow pomade. Of course I can. So I literally just do little simple strokes at the tail of my brow, like a tail, a prominent one at that. Flick it upwards and feel like this. If you want like a more Instagrammable brow, you can just literally do the bottom all the way through because it's quite easy to blend anyways. So you can, and then just flick it upwards. And then when it comes to beginning, just, it don't move, by the way. Like, because I know some people been doing this, but I just feel like this, you can't even tell. Like, my brow don't look greasy, it don't look patchy, it just looks perfect. Like, the formula is literally everything, again, of this eyeshadow palette. Like, I just love it. So when you're done with your brows, you can choose two things: to either leave it as it is if you feel like you was on point with the application, or for a more crisp look, which we're always going to go for a more crisp look, is that foundation, and you just gonna carve out the top and clean it up. So we're just gonna go ahead and just clean up on top of that brow. I don't know if I messed it up, but you get the point. Ain't no even much into it. I used to be a brow fanatic. Now I just don't look crazy. And I'll go back to blending underneath our eye. Now what I like to use is this concealer brush. I got this from Shein, and this concealer brush is called a belly finger, which makes sense because it's a bit like a finger. And I really like these, and I literally now start to just blend out that concealer. I jump straight back into it, like, ever so quickly. Blend in like a triangular, don't know if you can see, but I blend diagonally, like from my eye to there, because I like the blush. As I said, I was blending my blush underneath my eye, so I want everyone to still see the blush that I blended towards my nose, to the center of my face. So I have to make sure I'm very strategic when putting this concealer, blending this concealer out, because I don't want to have to continuously go in layers, because we want to keep it soft glam and not turn it into full. Okay, and then I'm just gonna gently blend underneath my eyes and the rest of the product. Remember, well, not remember, but I use a lot of powder personally, so I don't want to overdo the blending, because what's my powder gonna stick to? Like, no. So you see how we haven't put any powder on and it's flawless? Like, yeah. And I'm a gatekeep it, because why not? Like, I'm a gatekeep it. And I'm gonna use my brush in A14. This is the Ariel. I love this collection. This is like the best collection Morphe's put out for me. On the brush, and I'm going to gently, the word is gently, like, I'm not even putting pressure on this brush, I'm literally just doing this and gently set underneath my eye, okay, with pressed powder myself. And I have to remind you guys, like, don't pound your face. I get it, you're trying to beat your face, but the whole process should really be very gentle. I don't know. Are you seeing the flawlessness? Yeah, I'm gonna start adding my powders to the rest of my face. Very depressed every time I have to talk about this, but I'm gonna dip into one of my old favorites, which is broken, so I can't even show you the pan, but this is Showmance by Morphe. This has been discontinued. Yeah, this has been discontinued. Any like small fluffy brush for my bronzer, and I'm just gonna dip into that and just get started. And I like to go, for me personally, I like to go in circular motions. Doing soft glam, I just feel like it just makes sense. Like, I feel like it just diffuses everything out. I go back into adding my blush, and I'm gonna use the Ken Beauty Mauvais powder blush first at the high. Please look at the placement. Listen, because yeah, I'm only gonna put it here at the highest point of my cheek. Okay, I'm only putting it right here. Blend it in even a bit into my eye, my crease, and I'm only keeping it here. Okay, I'm only keeping it here. Like, I am not blending any further than that. And I build that up so gently because it is pigmented. As I told you, it is quite pigmented. And don't worry if there's any like harsh lines. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna sort that out. But just keep it here because that gradient is gonna be so beautiful. I need a Vinci palette, So Essentials palette, and I'm gonna take So Soft, which is this lovely Barbie pink. And I really like how it's not sheer, it's pigmented, but it's very light. Like, it's not like boom. Like, you can't really make an accident with this palette by adding too much blush, unless you add a lot of blush, if that makes sense. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go back up. I'm literally doing this, going back up into the Mumbai, and I'm literally just doing one stroke. I'm not doing this, I'm literally just blending like this. Okay, don't get scared, guys. It's actually okay. It's actually okay. So we're going with the pressed powder again, another layer, and we're gonna use that just to like blend and diffuse that harsh line of the blush. Do you see how I'm just going back and forth? Like, I'm literally just bringing everything to one just to make sure that everything's making sense. Okay, everything's making sense. Everything's one. Everything's united. Okay. Powder of choice is of course the Huda Beauty in the shade Blondie. My go-to shade, personally. I feel like you can never go wrong with that. And I take the same brush and I literally gently, ever so gently. Okay, just make sure you try to pat out as much excess as you can. See, I did not do that. You do. And this is like perfect. This is basically perfect for the summer, like this routine, because honey, when I say your makeup's not gonna move, it's not. And I can, you know. And I just, yeah, I make sure that I soften up the edges before I let that bake, so it's not too harsh. No more blush to it. I just take the residue and kind of like pat and swipe the blush bit. So it's like a neat bake. It's very neat. It's very cutesy. It's very demure. But I'm gonna use this MAC bronzer in Film Noir all over the base of my lid, and I just literally tap it in like this into my Made by Mario palette. And I like to use, what is this shade? I think this is shade 12, like chocolatey brown, and I like to start basically smoking it out. I'm smoking it out in conjunction with like where my powdered nose contour will go. So I like to bring it all the way there, and then I do bring it like towards the front of my brow, and then I flick it out so I don't touch my brow bone, and I start to blend into the blush as well, where I put the blush. So everything's very much, but I blend upwards like that. Okay, everything's very much cohesive here. Because I do like my nose contour to be harsh, but I realized my nose contour was getting too harsh, so this is how I kind of like avoid me from resisting, because if I do this with my eyeshadow, I'm gonna soften it out. So I'm doing reverse psychology. So then I'm gonna take my Juvia's Paste and I'm gonna take the lighter bronzer shade. This is in the shade dark, and I'm literally just gonna go in. I just dip it once and I just kind of like diffuse everything. My nose contour, so I do my eyes and my nose contour at once, by the way. I'm gonna go with the same palette that I use for my under eye, and I'm just gonna mix a couple of shades together and pray that it matches. Patting. I'm not really sweeping, I'm more patting. I pat the loose powder in, I'm not gonna lie. I take some of that bronzer from MAC that I used underneath my eye and I put it underneath eyeliner. Soft, so soft by Brandy Da Vinci. Underneath the eyes a bit still, just to give some glam, do you know what I mean? And then I'm just gonna go in with a bit more powder and just kind of like blend. This is my personal preference, so I like to use the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt highlighter duo, and this is in Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule. It's like a lovely champagne pink. I dip them in both and I just kind of just put that there. Nice fluorescent pink. It's so stunning on the skin. This is my favorite highlighting brush. This is Morphe M451. I think they still have this actually. I just highlight my nose. I highlight my cheeks with this gold. It's like a nice, just keep it. If you want to highlight your brow bone, feel free to. Do I? Yeah, let's highlight it for the sake of you lot. I'm actually in the inner corners of my eye as well. It's so fire. I got them from Shein. I'm gonna see if I can find them, but they are so fire. From Beauty Forever in brown. I'm just gonna use that lip liner, my fluffy brush, and like kind of blend the lip liner out, or just take away any harsh lighting. I love this shade. Please, let's actually just dive into this shade. It's so gorgeous, and I put that all in the center of my lip. Going with my e.l.f. Pink Cosmo Rose plumping gloss on top of the brown liner. I do. I'm gonna go with my Mario Badescu spray. I'm gonna my Maybelline Lasting spray. That's why I gotta stay. Okay, cut it. Bye. Very dry, but as you can see, it's pretty much. I'm gonna take this. Oh yeah, I wasn't meant to spray underneath my eye. So when you're spraying your misty spray and shit, don't spray underneath your eye. But this you put over your face.
See, it all depends on what you do. That is telling me it's £11.